Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. This is our second round playoff preview. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis, joined by Dan Albano and Stevve Fryer. Guys, we're here at Katella High School in the weight room. The Knights just got done practicing, so we took the show indoors for once. Dan, let's get this show started off with the Pac-5. We have two big-time matchups as Orange Lutheran hosts Centennial, which is all world. We know that. Mater Dei visits Serra of Gardena. Which one of these two matchups kind of sparks something for you?
Both of them. I mean, if it's hard to pick one, Jonathan.
Yeah, because if they both win, they play each other in the semis.
I don't think both are going to win.
Okay. Last week you did.
Yeah, we were 2 for 2 on that one. Right. So you can't give me any grief about my predictions on that one, can you?
Losal, but that's later in the show.
They were up late in the first half.
Okay, let's keep it to the Pac-5. Let's keep it to the Pac-5
game. They gave it away, Jonathan. But I think Orange Lutheran Centennial is interesting to me because that's a rematch of the game they've already played this year at Orange Coast College, same field, and that was a pretty close game at halftime. It was a very close game at halftime, surprisingly close. So I think the Huskies come into Orange County this year and show that they're a superior team, and I think Orange Lutheran has had a great year, but I don't think they're going to beat Centennial. And Mater Dei, they're facing a dual threat quarterback at Serra, the Tate quarterback, who's an Arizona commit. That's going to be real tough. But I think Mater Dei is rolling right now. And I think they can win and get to the semis.
Both teams are rolling, Steve. Mater Dei put up 66 points in a win against Lakewood, and the Lancers beat St. Bonnie 54-44. Do you believe that both of these teams can win?
Centennial it's Centennial Bosco in the finals. I think everybody's talking about that one. But Mater Dei Serra is kind of intriguing to me because Mater Dei is really hot lately. After they lost that game to J. Serra, they went out and they smoked Margarita, and then they blitzed Lakewood pretty bad too. So Mater Dei is pretty intriguing. I know in my predictions thing, I picked Serra to win this game, but I don't know. Mater Dei's got my attention these last two games, fellas. So that'll be an interesting game.
Okay, we'll transition now to the West Valley Division, where 5 of our Orange County teams last week got eliminated, including Los Alamitos, as you talked about there, Dan. But this week we have Mission Viejo hosting Murrieta Valley. That's undefeated Mission Viejo at 11-0. The Diablos beat Hart last week, 49-14. Murrieta Valley beat Fountain Valley in the Battle of the Valleys, Dan. Mission Viejo hosting Murrieta Valley. Is it another win for the Diablos, Dan?
I think so, but that was an impressive victory for Murrieta Valley against Fountain Valley. Murrieta Valley they're in the playoffs for the first time since 2012. They have a freshman quarterback that threw some touchdown passes, but I think that the Diablos defense will probably get after them and they'll make to the semifinals. The Diablos were all over Hart in that game. They're up 41-42 nothing last week.
Meanwhile, Mission Viejo's South Coast League rival Tesoro is going to be on the road visiting Rancho Cucamonga, Steve. Right. The Titans beat Great Oak 49-3. Monster doing what he does, just 298 yards passing, and that was and they scored on their first 7 possessions. So Tesoro firing on all cylinders at the right time.
That 298 was just the first half. Yeah, so it was pretty impressive. Monster's just been an animal these last couple weeks. I think Tesoro looks really good. I see them going to the Final Four and maybe winning this game, but I was impressed by Rancho Cucamonga. I'm kind of worried about that, and I think Coach Matt Poston and Tesoro must be as well.
All right. Now it's the Southwest turn, and one of our favorite division guys. We got 4 matchups here. La Habra at Laguna Hills. Villa Park hosting Valencia in a battle of unbeatens, Dan, and I'll throw this one to you. The Spartans taking on the Tigers. You've seen the Tigers recently, Dan. Their last meeting, Villa Park beat Valencia 21-12 in 2013. Yeah. 2 years later, the revenge factor still may be there. What are you looking for in a matchup like this between 2 undefeated teams?
Yeah, this is spectacular. I mean, this is one of the best games of the year. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't want to call it game of the year, but this is one of the best. This is top 5-10 game of the year so far. This is going to be great.
So are you covering this game then?
Stevve Fryer, he arm wrestled me for this game, and Steve's going to be over at El Medina High School.
You didn't use that sword on me, Dan.
That's pretty scary looking.
Villa Park and Valencia have played for many, many years. Coach Marujo, of course, has been at Villa Park Valencia for almost 30 years. And when Coach Mahoney was at Villa Park, the former coach there, these guys used to play for probably 15, 20 years straight. They're not playing regularly now. But this is a great game. both these teams I think are knocking on the door for top 10 in Orange County. But I think my pick's going to be Valencia, because I think they got a little bit more athleticism. They have a lot more athleticism than they have in the past. They got a great defense, and they have the diversity on offense, that they can run it and with a couple guys, they can pass it with a couple guys, and I think they're going to win this game.
Steve, a marquee matchup in this division I'm looking at is Sonora and San Clemente. Sonora will be hosting San Clemente at La Habra High School. We got a chance to see the Raiders last week, and they were impressive, especially their running back there, Jacob Fimbres. I mean, how amazing was he? You talk about a guy who can break a game with his speed and his elusiveness. Jacob Fimbres, what else is there to say?
Well, you and I spoke to each other after the game. We were talking about, hey, all-county guy, huh? So we
hint.
Yeah, exactly. So we took a look at that because he is really fast. As soon as he gets the ball, he's running full speed. San Clemente, though, I think they got so many skilled players. Vlad and
Jack Sears.
Yeah, and Jack Sears, the quarterback. I think kind of an underrated quarterback. Big Cole, the tight end. Another all-county sort of guy there too. So I like San Clemente in that game, but man, Sonora impressed the heck out of me. That team was a lot better than I thought they were.
Okay, our host school here today is in the Southern Division, and hey, that's what we're going to talk about. Katella, they are going to be playing Canyon. Canyon 6-5, Katella 11-0. This is their first undefeated season in their school history. That goes back 50 years, Steve, when you were just, a young adult?
I was just learning to drive 50 years ago.
Katella is undefeated, Steve. We talked to the kids about any kind of pressure going into this matchup, because with every win comes more responsibility, but it really looks like they're up to the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. I think these kids, they remind me of El Medina. I was thinking of a couple teams that have a really family thing. They may not have the most talent on the field, but man, those guys, you can just tell by the way they compose themselves, the way they hang out, the way they play the game. You can tell there's a lot of heart on this football teams, where maybe the other team's a little better, more faster, or something like that. But man, if you got family going for you, you can beat anybody.
Dan, any thoughts on the Southern Division? We're here at Katella, but Godinez hosts Brea Linda. We have Garden Grove at Santa Ana Valley.
Yeah, all great games. I love this division. I brought the sword today because I think, this is going to be a great game. Katella and Canyon. At the beginning of the year, Canyon was my pick. They're going to get to the finals, and Garden Grove, that's my pick. I got to stick with it, but I think, I really think, Jonathan.
I'm scared.
I think this.
Watch out, Steve. Did you get a haircut yet?
Game here, Katella Knights. But I think Canyon is. They play, their record isn't as impressive because mostly because they played the superior schedule non-league. When you taking on Edison, you're taking on San Juan Hills. That's major stuff for this division, and but Catella's beating everybody they put in front of them. They're going to have to get ground control and keep it away from Harmon and Hobbs and those guys. But I think Canyon is going to edge them in a classic game. They're not Catella's not 11-0 for nothing.
Our thanks to Katella for hosting the Gridiron Show today. So let's talk to the Knights and see what they have to say.
Being 11-0, I never had any visions about that. I thought we were going to have a decent team, but to be 11-0 is something special.
Everyone's talking about it, but we for sure don't let it get to us as much because we haven't accomplished our goal yet. So we keep our composure.
We just try to pick each other up. Like if we do a bad play, we just pick them up. So like, hey, it's okay. You'll get the next one, and we just have that bond that no one can break.
Finally, guys, we'll go ahead and end it with the East Valley Division. I'll throw some games out at you and just give me your general thoughts. Brethren Christian at West Valley. Korean Lutheran hosts Calvary. Murrieta and St. Margaret's hosts Saddleback Valley Christian. Steve?
Saddleback Valley Christian St. Margaret's is a major game. They're both averaging like 50 points a game. That's going to be a high-scoring game at St. Margaret's. It's a coin flip game to me. As we've said, and I've been writing all year, this is the best year we've ever had in small schools football in Orange County in terms of so many quality teams, so many really good athletes all over the place. So they're really good. Brethren Christian really good. You brought that prop because it's the Knights. I'm just glad we're not a Valencia, the Tigers, what you would have brought, or the Westminster Lions or J. Sarah Lions or something.
Scary just thinking about it.
I hope it'd be a stuffed animal.
I would need the mask, the Knights mask, if that was the case.
Yeah, it's a helmet, but regardless, Dan, what are your final thoughts on this division here?
Exciting. I think that that's a South County showdown there with SVC and St. Margaret's. I mean, St. Margaret's has got a lot of experience. Both these teams have a lot of postseason experience. Seems like St. Margaret's has kind of got themselves going a little bit after some of their stumble in the Academy League. But that's going to be a great game. I'm interested to see that Calvary Murrieta team. that's been a highly regarded team in that division. So that's going to be a tough one for Kareen.
All right, Dan's going to go sharpen his sword. Steve's going to go hit a gala. Just so sharp this week, Steve. Thanks for showing up.
Free dinner,
Where are
baby.
you going?
Where am I going? I'm editing the show. I'm up till midnight, baby. Thanks to Dan Albano. Thanks to Stevve Fryer. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis. And for all your latest football updates, check out OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.